Follow-up boss, good morning. Oh, hold on a minute. Follow-up boss, good morning, day 2, come on. I know, Gabe, yes, the shoes are for Gabe. Someone had to show up and make sure there was a little shoe competition with Gabe. You'll let me know how I'm doing. Good morning, follow-up boss friends. Let's share some time together today. And yet first, huge shout out to the follow-up boss team. Dan, Stacy, Ricardo, and the entire follow-up boss team, congratulations to you for creating quickly what is now one of the most sought after real estate conferences in the industry. Yesterday was a very interesting day, and I'm excited for all the presenters on day 2. If we have not yet had the opportunity to share time together, my name is Renee Funk. I'm team leader of the Funk Collection in Orlando, Florida. Do I have any Florida friends in the house? Florida friends in the house? And proud, exactly what to say, certified guide. Coming to you today to share a little bit of Renee Funk and a little bit of exactly what to say. First, who in this room, by show of hands, has ever hosted a sales meeting before? Raise your hand. Hosted a sales meeting. Who in this room has ever attended a sales meeting? That's pretty much all of us, right? One more question for you. Who in this room has ever attended a badass real estate conference? Woohoo! That's all of us right now. How important is it when we're showing up in meetings, when we're attending a conference like FUBCON, to attend with full presence? How important is it to remind ourselves, presence is a gift? You see, we're running around with our hair on fire as business owners. There's a lot of information coming to us. Social media is a lot. And yet, we plan meetings, we host meetings, we attend conferences, and it is incredibly easy to slip into the trap to be distracted. This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. Over the last year, the Funk Collection, with intentionality, has shared a lot of time talking about how we're showing up for each other. If I could show you one tip to make sure that your meetings are more effective, collaborative, and engaged, would that be helpful? Everyone hold up your cell phone. Hold it up. Right now, check the setting. Is it on vibrate? Perfect. Hold your phone up and say, presence is a gift. Set your phone down, face down. Intentionally realize that motion sets the stage for your time today. And that's a little tip for you. Whether you're a meeting attendee, whether you host meetings, one of the best gifts you can give, not only yourself, but those that are investing the time and attention and care to be in the room with you, is the gift of being present. That simple step can change the engagement in your meetings. If you are in the Follow-Up Boss Success community in Facebook, which is all of us, correct? You may have seen this week I did a little video with top 5 tips for gaining the most out of attending a conference. One of those tips I shared was that we can fall in love with handwriting notes again. So if you're on a laptop, which I've done for years and years as well, I'll challenge you. Stop taking notes on laptops. I'll challenge you to go back to your teams and your real estate offices and consider where you can introduce note-taking with pen and paper again. Fall in love with handwriting. You see, those acts will get you the opportunity to be more present. It will encourage those around you to be more collaborative. And perhaps most importantly, you will gain an opportunity to absorb the information that others are collaborating in the room. Presence is a gift. An unpopular opinion. As real estate leaders, we have the opportunity to attend a lot of real estate conferences in business. 2023 was much like many years. I attended a real estate conference in 2023 where I observed a room of 300 salespeople laugh when this statistic was shared. Statistic was shared that every 3.5 minutes in 2023, a real estate agent quits the industry. In that room, there was an outburst of laughter and excitement. I didn't laugh. Rather, I paused for a moment and I said to myself, Renee, what is making you feel this way? What questions are surfacing that you're having a reaction that rather than, and I understand, friends, we understand that if some agents are leaving the industry, it can feel like a boost to the industry. It can feel like we have an opportunity to gain more market share. I understand. I get it. And yet, in that moment, when the room broke out in laughter and excitement, I asked myself, as a team leader, what could I be doing differently to make sure that those around me were not being left behind? I sat with that question for a little moment, and I then asked myself, what does it mean to be a leader in real estate? What does that mean? Real estate terms in the industry are thrown around often. We use words over and over on repeat that sometimes we forget what the words actually mean. When was the last time you actually Google the definition of a word or a phrase that we use on repeat, oftentimes without even thinking about it? In that moment, I took a moment to Google. What are the definitions of leaders in real estate? Let's take a look at a few definitions that really resonated with me. Leader in real estate. Real estate leaders should inspire those around them. Real estate leaders, inspiring those around you is a core responsibility. An additional definition, effective leaders not only produce the vision for the business, the recipe of success, if you will, real estate leaders and leadership aims to guide, energize, and excite those around us. One other definition that really stood out to me in leaders in real estate was that leaders know how to clearly and articulately communicate others what's expected of them. We know how to communicate to others around us how they too can achieve the success that they're dreaming of. And we should know how to communicate with others and make sure that we're helping them lift as we climb. When I think about that moment, I also think of an emotion that came to the surface and hit me in the heart, and that's I was feeling empathy. A dear friend and mentor of mine, Phil M. Jones, he's the author of Exactly What to Say. Phil actually introduced a definition of the word empathy that I found really impactful. You can Google the definition and you're going to find many, and yet this definition stands clear for leaders in real estate. Empathy is caring about what the people you care about care about. Empathy is caring about what the people you care about care about. Fast forward a couple months after the laughter moment, I found myself in a real estate mastermind a little bit more intimate in size. This time I was in a mastermind with about 70 agents coming together to talk about AI. Okay, let's pause for 1 second. Who gained golden nuggets from yesterday's AI conversations? Oh my goodness, right? Did you all take a screenshot of Tom Ferry's Wheel of AI? And what did we think of Jason Pantana's conversation with all the awesome AI tools? Which one was your favorite? All of them, right? One of the favorites I had of Jason's was that cool AI solution where we no longer have to worry about if we look like we're reading a script. How cool was that? Chase Whitney, you're here, right? Chase Whitney? You're always forging ahead, and I know you're already leveraging that tool. You're a badass, Chase. So think about that mastermind of 70 people. Conversation was all about AI. And the speaker in that mastermind stood up and said, the last agent standing will be the agent who goes all in on AI. AI is going to change the face of the industry. Okay. I can see some of that. And I also want to assure you that I'm not against AI. I have the ChatGPT app prominently displayed and using it on my home screen of my phone. If you've heard me speak before at Follow-Up Boss conferences, you may have heard one of the tips that I have for the most adoption of Follow-Up Boss ever, and that's that when a team joins the Funk Collection on day 1, we move the Follow-Up Boss app to the bottom tray, and we get the phone app out of the way. I was at the Follow-Up Boss booth last night down in the expo hall, and I was talking to the Follow-Up Boss team, and they saw my phone, and they said, oh my goodness, Renee, you actually have the FUB app in the bottom tray? Like, I hear you say it, but it's true? Yes, it's true. Well, just like that, leveraging AI is important. Positioning it on your phone is important. Being aware of the tool for efficiencies is important. I bet you're a bit like me. You recognize with AI also comes a great deal of responsibility. Responsibility that we understand the tool and we continue to remember that relationships are what is the foundation of the real estate business. Relationships, professional agents learn about the humans that we're seeking to serve before we can earn the relationship, trust, and loyalty. So I'm going to ask you to remember that moment. The last agent standing is the agent using AI. We're going to come back to that. I've mentioned Phil M. Jones. Today I'm going to share the 5-step reset that every real estate agent in the industry can benefit from, especially when we're talking about resiliency. There was a lot of conversation yesterday about resiliency, understanding how we show up for the consumer, understanding how we show up for each other. The Funk Collection, over the last year of working within the Exactly What to Say body of work, has spent a great deal of time on these 4 cornerstones of conversational excellence. This is when you want to get your pen and paper out, friends. I'm going to share some awesome tips and some questions for you to take back to your real estate teams. Number 1 cornerstone of conversational excellence. The worst time to think about the thing you're going to say is in the moment you are saying it. Ever been in that moment where you have a really important, critical conversation, and maybe you didn't take enough time for the work before the work to prepare yourself and be extra ready, ready, ready? I've done it. And yet, just this one cornerstone, realizing the worst time to think about the thing we're going to say is in the moment we're going to say it, will have a ripple effect in your business. Now, perhaps one of my favorite cornerstones, and if you ask my husband, Jeffrey Funk, my favorite realtor, he'll say, Renee, you're coming to me with more questions, more questions. Yes, I have more questions because curiosity is the fuel for great conversations. And the person asking the questions controls the conversation. Which leads us to a very important reminder. People do things for their reasons and not ours. Spend some time on the 4 cornerstones, and a natural progression of next assessments in your business. And quite frankly, we could spend a whole day workshop just on these next 2 questions. Write these down, and if you just take these questions home with you, your business will soar. Who are the people I'm seeking to serve? And what are the solutions I provide those people? What are the solutions I provide those people? You see, again, we're running around with our hair on fire, and we sometimes forget all of our superpowers. We forget all the great things we're doing, not only as community ambassadors, as helping families achieve home ownership, which is where they're building their memories with their families. Remember who you're seeking to serve. Remember all the awesome superpowers you have, because it gets tough. There is a need to be more resilient, perhaps now more than ever. Remember that you're providing amazing solutions. Write them down. Pin them up. So in those moments of difficult, challenging times, was it Phil Gertis yesterday who said there's moments where you're just like, I just want to quit. And then there's moments where you're like, yes, right? It's so exciting. Remember in those moments who you're seeking to serve and what are the solutions you provide. I mentioned superpowers. Curiosity is a superpower. Curiosity now more than ever serves professional real estate agents to earn a stronger business, to deepen the relationships that we seek so intently to earn. In the customer service industry, which, by the way, real estate is about customer service, right? Who's with me? Real estate, customer service? Yes. Right? We provide customer service as professional real estate agents. In my earlier years, like a long time ago, I trained for a number of years with the Walt Disney World Company, learning all about the magical moments and the amazing customer service that Walt Disney World provides to the guests. And in that customer service training, much like we feel as real estate business owners, it's natural. Someone asks a question. We're a leader in real estate. We're a community ambassador. We provide an answer. Could it be possible to show up with just a bit more curiosity before going right to the answer? And could it be possible to look ourselves in the mirror and say, what if I'm wrong? What if I haven't gained enough context yet from my fellow agent who's asking for guidance and advice, from a potential buyer relocating to Orlando? What if I haven't asked just enough questions to gain more context to truly then show up and deliver value? So as customer service providers, I'll nudge you all. The skill set to pause and ask 2 or 3 additional strategic curiosity questions serves us very well in our relationship earning. that extra curiosity, that extra context, gives us the gift of being able to then say, because of the fact that you said, you see, the Funk Collection serves a large number of buyers who come to Central Florida and purchase a home within a community that's zoned for short-term rental. You know, Airbnb. And yet in the Central Florida market, Airbnbs have existed long before the app. The business model of a short-term rental community has existed for decades. It's only been, of course, over the more recent years where short-term rentals, Airbnbs, the technology that's changed, the TV shows, the HGTV effect has brought an additional light on the awesome opportunity that can exist for some buyers. Said buyer will call up, and I've had this call many a times over my career. Hi, Renee. I'm thinking about buying an Airbnb 4 to 5 miles away from Walt Disney World. Fantastic. Here's what you need to do. Here's the community. This is perfect. And you can go right into sharing all the details. That's what we used to do. Until now, with focus for curiosity being a superpower, and remembering to pause and slow down and really think about the discovery, just because we've been representing buyers just like that for 2 decades doesn't mean we truly understand the human who's on the other side of that communication. And selling is earning the right to make a recommendation. So what few additional questions can we have to gain that luxury of extra context and to give us the positioning as the service provider to be able to say, because of the fact that you said you visit Orlando 3 to 4 times per year with your family of 9, you typically book 3 hotel rooms at the Grand Floridian that start at about $900 a night per room. You're an annual pass holder with future dreams of retiring and moving to Florida. The short-term rental communities nearby Disney could be a great consideration for you. In fact, we've served many customers just like you who've experienced the benefits of investing into real estate rather than spending on hotel rooms. See, that extra curiosity gives a service provider the ability to say, I can earn the right to make a recommendation. FiveStep Reset. That's what we're here for, right? I got lots of goodness to share. Pen and paper in hand, we're going to cover the 5 steps. Team leaders in the room, lean in. Team leaders in the room, this 5-step reset has been absolutely instrumental to one-on-ones, to year-end reviews. Individual agents, you badasses. You guys are amazing. Lean in. The 5-step reset helps you get real clear right now on exactly who you need to be speaking with and why to move the needle forward in your business. First, questions lead to conversations, lead to relationships, which open up opportunities, and the opportunities drive action. What's that mean? Let's ask ourselves, who are the people you need to ask more quality questions of? Who are the people you need to ask more quality questions of? What are the conversations you know you need to have, and yet you aren't? And I like to add a little asterisk on this step. If we get real with ourselves, whether we're in the industry for 1 year or we're in the industry for decades, this is real. Fear and call hesitancy exists for every sales professional at one time or another. Each and every one of us in this room has at least one person you know you need to have a conversation with. You know it's been weighing over you, and you haven't yet. I do. It happens to the best of us. So the asterisk to this question is, and why? What are the conversations you know you need to have and yet you are not? And why? What is it that we're fearing? What's holding us back? And on the positive flip side, where do I hold relationships with untapped opportunities? Could it be possible that that person that you've been holding off calling for this reason or another, maybe it's just been busy, simple swap. Swap busy with productive, by the way. We're going to talk about simple swaps in a few minutes. Being conscientious about intentional words we use. We're not busy, we're productive. I'm still working on that one. What is the ideal outcome we're seeking our actions to achieve? What's the ideal outcome? A few moments ago, we wrote down 2 core questions. Who are the people we're seeking to serve? And what are the solutions we provide those people? You see, these 5 steps all tie into those 2 core questions. And becoming very clear with ourselves, the team, the real estate office we belong to, about the ideal outcomes we're seeking our actions to achieve, that very step alone gets us back into more action, gets us the clarity we're seeking to earn more effective, impactful relationships. Would it be helpful if I shared 2 of the most critical conversations the Funk Collection have identified over the last 3 months? Would that be helpful? Very good. The 5-step reset the Funk Collection has gone through and continues to put focus on, as well as the 4 cornerstones for conversational excellence. And 2 of the conversations identified by the team in what we like to call a jam session. See, when you get together as a team in a meeting, and you have your presence is a gift slide that starts every meeting, and you launch that meeting with intentionality to be present, then you sit down and you talk about who are the core people you're seeking to serve and what are the solutions you provide. An additional benefit is to put an intentional time frame. So in the first meetings that the Funk Collection had, that we were identifying top 2 critical conversations that need to be had now to get real with why we weren't having them, what we did is wrap that around 60 to 90 days. So who are the people we're seeking to serve over the next 60 to 90 days, and what are the solutions we're seeking to provide? And we came up with 2 verticals in our Follow-Up Boss database. Who in this room is using Pawns with Follow-Up Boss? Pawns, raise your hands. Can we get a whoop whoop? Whoop whoop. Who loves Pawns? They're fairly new, right? They're one of the newer-ish releases. The Funk Collection's been with Follow-Up Boss for almost 8 years. Fub team, you can fact check me. It might be 9, 10, I don't know. It feels like you guys are family at this point, so we love you. Pawns are amazing. Utilizing Pawns as a strategy can change the organizational element to your Follow-Up Boss. One of the things that we see on repeat in the Follow-Up Boss success community in Facebook is that moment over the first year when an agent joins Follow-Up Boss and perhaps they say, oh my goodness, I'm feeling like it's a little disorganized. I'm trying to get my bearings. Been there? Pawns is a really great tool. So find me in the hall, and I'm happy to share with you how we're using Pawns. This particular pond that I'm referring to right now is called the Money Pond. How do you like that sound? We all need a money pond in our Follow-Up Boss. That first pond we identified is what we're calling a re-engaged critical conversation. Here's the profile of this pond, and we went deep, friends. We're not talking about just you visited the website in the last 3 days. Here's the profile of this pond contact. You raised your hand and inquired about a property over the last 12 months. You're active on the website. You haven't had a call in the last 30 days. And your activity on the site is frequent, at least once a day. We made a call and we asked these questions. Hi, Gabe, it's Renee Funk. You previously inquired about 123 Banana Street. Did you ever complete the transaction? Gabe, did you ever? Okay. It's like I queued you up. If Gabe says, no, I have not completed the transaction yet, the next question is, now, who's ever been in this moment where you just go, okay, goodbye, I'm all done, bye. Oh, no, friends. Curiosity is a superpower, and open-ended strategic questions change your real estate business. The question is, what's one thing that has changed since the last time you looked at homes? Think that might elicit some different replies? Think that strategic curiosity could give you a little more context as to how you can show up and serve this customer? Perhaps you need a secondary nudge question, is what I like to call them. What is one thing, Gabe, that surprised you while you were looking for homes? Pretty darn good question, right? To uncover a little bit about you were looking, heck, you're still really active, but what's keeping you on the fence? What's one thing that surprised you while you were looking? Could be possible that when you asked the question, you previously inquired about 123 Banana Street, did you ever complete the transaction? They might say yes. Uh-oh. They might say yes, they bought without us. Question is, and no, we don't just hang up, how is the home performing for you? How's the home performing for you? What do we know to be true about many of the customers who bought a home over the last 3 years? Shout it out. Orphan buyers. What else? They settled. What else? They gave away their right arm. They gave away their firstborn. They probably wrote the offer at the end of the driveway, prayed, crossed all the things, and said, oh my goodness, I hope my offer wins the deal. And then they made concessions, right, Ben? When we're asking a question like, how is the home performing for you, what's being uncovered are things like, oh, I just hosted Thanksgiving. Now, by the way, this question, we really started asking as a team around latter part of 2022. And one of the first success stories we have as a team from this question was one of the agents of the Funk Collection called this segment of the Money Pond, asked this question of someone who bought with another team because we fell short as a team, asked the prospective buyer, how's the home performing for you, uncovered the buyer had just, who was now the owner of the property, hosted Thanksgiving in their new home that they bought about a year prior. It was the first time that all their family from multiple states came down to visit them in Orlando since the pandemic. Guess what they uncovered? What did they uncover about how that home was performing for them while they were hosting and entertaining? Shout it out louder. Too small. They didn't care for the kitchen setup. Loved the house otherwise. Shared with the agent for a good 6-7 minutes all the things that were frustrating them about the kitchen. So the agent said, who sat down with you over the last 30 to 60 days to share a conversation about the homes that are trading in today's market and the additional buying power you might have accessible to you? Customer says, no one. How open-minded would you be to sharing a conversation and taking a look at what the market is trading for and some of the kitchens that might be able to give you that extra flexibility? We can get you in before the next Thanksgiving. How's that sound? Boom. That agent on the phone collection listed and sold that property and helped them buy their next home with the perfect kitchen that they couldn't attain in the rapid market that existed the year prior from this one question. How is the home performing for you? Seller pond. Another pond we love. We went super deep. Let's talk about the profile of the customer. We went deep with critical conversations in the FiveStep Reset. Sellers in this pond are sellers who are receiving one monthly postcard from the Funk collection. Sellers in this pond are receiving at least one email per month with their home value, specific to their subdivision in Orlando. Sellers in this pond are active on the website, which means that when we send the home value, they're also visiting realtyinorlando.com to uncover more information about what's going on in their neighborhood. There's been a number of phone calls with this database and this segment of the pond, but not nearly enough, which is why we're identifying them as a critical conversation. What do we ask? Hi, Matt. It's Renee Funk. You previously inquired about a home value for 123 Banana Street. Did you complete the home sale? Pretty simple, right? If the answer is no, this question is very strategic. Who's looking to convert more sellers in your current database right now? Because of the fact that you just raised your hand, this question you should repeat verbatim with a segmented database that you have of sellers you want to re-engage. Verbatim. Write it down, take a photo, all the things. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it to sell the property within the next 60 to 90 days? Intentional time frame again, right? Our results would be different if we just asked the question on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it to sell the home? Another simple swap. When we're talking to a potential seller, it's a property. When we're talking to a potential buyer, it's a home. We're talking to sellers here. Notice the intentional time frame on a scale of 1 to 10. How important is it within the next 60 to 90 days? Now, if that same potential seller says, it's not that important, don't want to move, we go back to the qualifying curiosity question, how is the home performing for you? To uncover the good, the challenges, the potential pebbles in the shoe. A follow-up question I like to call a nudge question. So when we ask questions in our communication, sometimes, especially if they're open-ended question, we're going to get a lot of meat and potatoes in those replies. We're going to get more context, the gift of context. Sometimes, however, we don't get enough. So I like to form nudge questions, which are those follow-up questions. We can nudge them a little bit deeper. If you ask the question, how's the home performing for you? And if they say something like, it's okay, love it, great. One-word answers doesn't really give you much context. There's a follow-up nudge question. What are 3 things you love about the current property? And what's one thing you'd change? Using 3-in-1 strategies is a really impactful way. Heck, I do it with my kids. I'm a mom of 2 teenagers, Sam and Gavin. Love you guys. They're not here. They're in Orlando. My oldest is getting ready to start applying for college. Y'all, I'm not old enough for that. Just want y'all to know. God love them, though. The 3-in-1 works even as parents. What were 3 things great about your day today, Sam? What's one thing you'd change? You see, with the desired outcome to have more enriching conversations and to learn more context about the humans that we're seeking to earn relationships with, the way we word things matter. Knowing exactly what to say and asking smart questions changes the game. Let's talk teams for a moment. Whether you're on a team, whether you run a team, whether you're a team owner, whether you're a brokerage owner, who would agree that the definition of team in the real estate industry has changed over the last 5 to 10 years? Agree? Okay, coffee, follow a boss, make sure the coffee's in the hallway because we need a little more energy. We're coming through here, we got you. The word team has changed over the last 5 to 10 years. Team leaders, lean in. Agents, individual agents, lean in. This impacts you as well. One of the most impactful questions we can ask each other in the industry, we can certainly ask when we have an interview of a team member who's considering joining our team, and agents thinking about what team could mean for you. This is an impactful question. My hope is that we continue to ask this in every room we are in. And that question is, what does team mean to you? As a team leader, I made a lot of mishires over the years. My fault. What do they say? Like, stop pointing out and start putting your thumb in? My fault. What I've learned over the years as a team leader for a little over a decade is that as a leader, a part of my responsibility is to ask the smartest questions for those who are considering the opportunity with the Funk Collection. Making this one switch as a team leader, for the many, many times so grateful that someone approaches me and says, "Can I join your team?" Team leaders, you get it, right? I want to join your team because you got leads. You got leads. Have we, though, defined, especially in 2023 and beyond, when the industry is changing, the industry has changed, there are badass team leaders and teams in this room in FUBCON. There are. And it's safe to say that with the variety of team leaders that exist in this room and the variety of team models that exist in the room, there's brokerages calling themselves teamerage now, right? There are probably, I don't know, many, many, many different models of teams that we all define what that model looks like differently. The importance of making sure we're communicating that is high. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, over the next 60 to 90 days, 11. Ask yourself, what is an obstacle in the way of more meaningful conversations in real estate? And I've been spending quite a bit of time over the last couple of months asking myself, what is an obstacle in the way of more meaningful conversations I'm having as a mom? What's an obstacle in the way of me as a wife of 23 years, co-business owners of a business for 2 decades? What's in the way of me having more meaningful conversations as a wife? Our real estate business bleeds in with our personal life. Might be another unpopular opinion. Work-life balance is bullshit. It's bullshit. Another simple swap, it's work-life integration. As a mom and business owner, the number of times I've had that judgy look, and sometimes it's even a judgy comment about, you talk about real estate at the dinner table, you and Jeff ever shut off? Are you kidding me? You know how much our kids, Sam and Gavin, have gained because of the conversations and the tables they've sat at and the rooms like this one that they've had access to? Work-life integration. Give yourself the gift of extra grace. Take a moment to ask yourself, where are some of the most meaningful conversations, and what are the obstacles getting in the way of those meaningful conversations? For many of us, it could just be because we haven't paused long enough. We haven't paused. Remember the gift, presence is a gift slide? Y'all, that's intentional. Implementing that one slide at the beginning of every team meeting is intentional. Implementing the slide here at FUBCON at the launch of this time that I've been so honored to share with you, intentional. Not just for me, but for you. So where are those moments? Before making your next call, before having your next connection, there's another simple swap for you. I don't say appointment anymore. Appointment sounds heavy, feels like a responsibility. And also, I've had so many people reach out and say, Renee, I would love to be on your calendar for an appointment. Doesn't make me feel really well. I don't like it, so I don't say it. It's a connection. Before making your next call, before making your next connection, where do the micro moments exist where you too can share just a little more strategic curiosity? Want to know the number one most expensive mistake any real estate agent can make in their business? Friends, would you like to know the number one most expensive mistake? Come on, I'm delivering up here. This is going to matter. Promise. In this room, we've all been in a Facebook group filled with realtors, correct? Yes. Yep, we have. We have a badass group, the Follow Up Boss Success Community. Good news is, I don't see what I'm about to share with you in that group, the Follow Up Boss Success Community. Y'all are a pretty curious group. You're a pretty curious group. However, in many other Facebook groups, and heck, in a number of networking events where there's a group of realtors, what can always be found is one realtor saying to another, what's your favorite this? What's your tech stack? What advice do you have for me? What's the best lead source? Do those Z leads work? Right? What's your favorite CRM? We've heard it all the questions, right? Now, remember what I was saying about thinking about when we have that customer service mindset? Bless you. Remember that customer service mindset? That need that we're trained to do where we say, there's someone asking me a question, I got to answer. My favorite CRM, follow-up boss, of course. Remember, selling is earning the right to make a recommendation. The number one most expensive mistake we make, giving and receiving advice and guidance without context. Without reverting to 2 or 3, maybe 10 additional questions to understand the other human. Of course, Follow-Up Boss is the best CRM. I think FUB team has me on recording many times saying, if it didn't happen in Follow-Up Boss, didn't happen. And yet, in many rooms I'm in, and certainly in rooms where we have rising up agents, newer agents into the industry, and remember that stat, how many agents are leaving the industry? Leaders in real estate have a responsibility to ask smarter questions before we give guidance. Because that guidance, sending them down a rabbit hole without the context, could be the difference of them feeding their kids. They could get a shiny object syndrome. They could invest in Follow-Up Boss too soon. So the number one most expensive mistake that we can have in our business is giving and receiving advice without additional context. Forgetting for a moment that curiosity is a superpower. Throughout our time together, I've shared a few simple swaps. Simple swaps. Who's read Exactly What to Say the book? Raise your hands. Ooh, I see a lot of hands. In the Facebook community this morning, I put a video up. Find me in the hall. I have a limited number of books with me. The ask is that you say, Renee, I'm curious. Find me in the hall, because if you haven't read the book yet, you need to read it. And our dear Stacy Soleil is on the back cover of the book, right? Gotta love Stacy. So in Exactly What to Say, one of the portions of the work is about simple swaps. Simple adjustments we make to our words with intentionality to create two things. One, a curiosity gap. You know that moment when someone says, she worded that a little bit differently. They lean in. They lean in. And the other thing is to create more meaningful conversations. Who in this room has done a showing over the last 30 to 60 days where perhaps you represented the buyer and you showed up and the co-op agent, who's the listing agent, was present for the showing? Have you had that happen in the last 30 to 60 days? Yeah, a few of you. Still happens. In Orlando, there's still a great deal of homes that we show where the listing agent must accompany. That moment happens. This simple swap I'm about to share is applicable in that moment. It's also applicable around teams. And that's when we refer to our buyers, even when we're in a conversation, calling the co-op agent to say, the buyer submitted an offer, it's in your inbox. All too often what I hear agents say is, my buyer? My buyer? Who's your buyer? It's the buyer. In that moment at the front door when perhaps you're meeting the co-op agent for the showing, how awesome is it that rather than saying, here are my clients, we say, here are the clients. Here are the buyers. Teams, my and the. You can find me on video somewhere. You can find a social media post where I did it this way too. What got us here doesn't get us there. I've changed. You can find me probably somewhere referencing the Funk collection as my team. Oh. The Funk collection is the team. Refer to your teams, refer to your real estate offices, the office, the team. Make that simple swap. Past clients. Okay, guys, this is one I'm struggling with. I'm still working on it. Working in exactly what to say is a continued focus. And this one I'm struggling with, so you're going to probably hear me still mess this one up. Why on earth do we call clients who we've earned the business with previously, we've helped them achieve their amazing goals, why do we call them past clients? I haven't quite figured that one out yet. I haven't yet changed the stage in Follow Up Boss, but FUB team, it's coming. I'm working on a few simple swaps and thought I would nudge us all here as a jam session. What could be a simple swap for past clients? Successful clients? What else? Future sellers? What else? Louder. Clients. Legacy clients? I'm toying with that one. Legacy clients. I'm toying with VIP clients, or just clients. I haven't quite figured out why, as a real estate industry, we decided that there should be a distinction. I understand as stages. One of our stages in Follow Up Boss says past clients. It's changing by the end of 2023. We're going to perfect this word. Find me as you noodle that and share with me what you think of, because I promise you, by the next FUBCON, and definitely by January 1st of 2024, the Funk collection is making that adjustments to, they are legacy clients. We're working on it, but let's please stop calling them past clients. They've earned more than that, right? I would love to. We get this text all the time as salespeople who are solicited. I believe that the real estate industry is the most solicited to industries ever, and it's the I would love to show you this amazing tool I have that's going to rock your real estate world. It's going to be amazing, right? I would love to. How does I would love to make the recipient feel? When someone asks to hop on my calendar and they say I would love to, but yet, would I love to? Rather, a simple swap is to start first with the benefit. When we meet over the next 7 days, a couple of the benefits you will gain by considering this product is. So simple swap, taking the I would love you out of our vocabulary. Maybe we could say, I would love to, with our husbands, our wives, and our kids. But when we're continuing to earn the relationship with those around us that we haven't yet completely connected with and earned the relationship deep enough, I would love to's got to go. All right, everybody. This is where we're going to get some fitness in. Please stand up, friends. Follow up boss, stand up. Everybody stand up. I know you went out and had some fun last night. Gabe, you did, right? Woo-woo. Everybody's standing up. Remember I shared the story about the last agent standing, right? And it was about the AI, super important. We're all going to leverage AI as a tool in the tool chest. And yet, the last agents standing will be the curious agents who seek to understand and serve the human needs. And in that mindset of curiosity, my ask of you today is, I'm going to count down to 3, and we're going to shout out and be excited all together the words, curious agents. You got that? I'm going to count down to 3. We're going to shout out, curious agents. Are we ready? Because the last agent standing will be the curious agents. 3, 2, 1. Curious agents! Woohoo! I love that. Just one more thing. Are we yet connected on Instagram? If we're not, let's change that. Gotta love some good Instagram connections. Renee Funk on Instagram. And then finally, reneefunk.com/FUBCON is where you can submit your information to receive the Exactly What to Say quick reference guide. And while it's not on this slide, Stacy Soleil has been nudging me. And Stacy, I'm in action. I think she's backstage about ready to come out in a moment. I'm in action, Stacy Soleil. It's happening. When first starting to work with Exactly What to Say, another of the most critical conversations that we were identifying as a team is the need to overhaul our template emails, our template texts, and our action plans through the lens of strategic curiosity and exactly what to say. Those are in motion. And once those are in motion, we'll be offering those to the Follow Up Boss community. I'm rewriting them for us. I might as well share them with you. So when you sign up at reneefunk.com/FUBCON, you're going to have to give me an intentional time frame. And Stacy Soleil says, do you have the action plans ready yet? By January 1st, you're hearing it here, I'll have those action plans together and available. So, Follow Up Boss community, you all have a special place in my heart. This is a different community. It's a special community. This community is the community of real estate leaders. Thank you for the gift of your time. Remember, stay curious. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much. Love you guys.